Hello there, YouTube. This is Fragments of Memory once again, the Armchair Philosopher. I found myself having this argument with myself. The argument was about police. On one hand, I think having a magistrate, law enforcement force, security force, or military force is good for the safety and security of a society. No matter or militia of some sort. This is for the security and the safety of a society. To have prosperous cities, to have prosperous nations, you need some muscle. You can't you need order, you need authority, you need some checks and balances. You also need boundaries. Everyone needs boundaries. I myself do not believe in unbridled freedom because I think it's an illusion. I think, and I agree with an old quote, which basically says, your freedom ends, your right to swing your fist ends at the end of another man's nose. As long as you don't infringe on the rights of others, you're fine. As long as I don't threaten the safety of others, as long as I don't make others feel as though, and I won't say make others, but as long as I don't give off the air of being a threatening individual. And I know that can get into some deep waters there. I think everything is all right. I think every nation needs boundaries and checks and balances. I think there should be limitations on quote unquote freedom. I think people misuse the word freedom. We're free, and don't even know what freedom and being free really is. That's how I look at it. Now, on the other hand, even as I give praise, and not mere lip service, but actual praise to those brave men and women who are law enforcement officers or military or National Guard or Coast Guard or whatever you might be, whatever branch of that armed service you might be in, or whether you're just a security guard running security for some place. I look at the other side. Power corrupts. And absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. That was spoken by Lord Acton. I don't know what year, what time period, but that is a quote that is attributed to him. And I feel this is also the case in authority figures, in magistrates, in militia, in police force. Now, I am someone who I have a cousin that has just become a police officer. And he is what you would call a first cousin. So he is my mother's nephew. Um, and I grew up with him being the older one as a child. I am also a fan. I also have I know another young lady who is a police officer now. She's a lovely young lady. And I think they're a really decent, wonderful, hardworking people. However, I do feel that police can abuse their power, or police are so in the mind of being the law enforcer that they forget that the individual they're coming to is a person and that each case is different. Now, I've been stopped by the police, either walking down the street. I've been told I fit the description. I've been told we've been having problems in the area, and we see you walking down the street, so we assume you must be up to something. Now, I cannot check the veracity of their claims. All I know is that the police have stopped me. The police have questioned me. And what really bothers me is the fact that they ask me the same question over and over again, but 5 or 10 different ways to try to trip me up. So the tactics an officer uses to either get a criminal or get the criminal to confess is different. It's strange. It's weird. Not weird, but it isn't always the kindest. It isn't always the most polite. And I understand that being the nature of the job. But too often I've been on the receiving end. Thank the Almighty that I have not had anything on me. I've never been. I don't carry weapons. I don't do drugs. I don't have a criminal record. Thank God. But I have been stopped by the police and treated as though I were this horrible criminal. And then it doesn't help that I I'm black. I mean, I'm sorry to say that. And I know we live in the quote unquote post racial era and that black people can't ever bring up their blackness because that will be playing the race card. Well, so be it. I think ethnicity and race still play a part in this country. I still believe that prejudice exists. Whether black or white, it doesn't really matter, but prejudice exists on both sides. I still believe white privilege exists in America. And I believe that law enforcement, legal institutions, educational institutions are often skewed against blacks in this country. Now, this doesn't mean that black people shouldn't make attempts to be better and do better and have more and do better things and be worthier people. However, let's not pretend it doesn't exist and that it's only in the imaginations of black people. Like let's not get it twisted. So that's really my take on the police. I have mixed feelings about the police. In some instances, I'm glad to see them, and in others, I fear them. I mean, I remember watching the Rodney King footage, and even though Rodney King was a jerk, the police used over excessive force. And what frightens me is those are the cats with the guns. Well, thank you all for tuning in. And I also want to thank you in advance for at least just giving me a view. Take care.